So we are talking about the macro environment, and we are saying that these are external factors that are uncontrollable. You see now, the micro are the ones that you can control. If employees want to go on strike, you simply sit them down, have a discussion with them. If maybe you have an issue with maybe your suppliers, the customers, you can discuss that, right? You can discuss that. In terms of competitors, you might look at what the competitors are doing, then you copy them or even make your product better. That is something that is within your control. You can be able now to do something about it, right? We also have competition authority of Kenya, for example. If it is in Kenya, you can go and even have a discussion with them in case they are doing something that is not ethical, right? But now we are talking about external factors where you don't have control. There is nothing you can do about them. There is nothing much you can do about them. Only that on your side, you might have to do something on your side, but on their side, there is nothing you can do that is much. There is nothing much that you can do. So we are saying that these are the major external and uncontrollable factors that influence decision-making of an organization. They are major uncontrollable. They are major external uncontrollable factors that affects uncontrollable factors that affects or influence the decision making of an organization. Affects or influence the decision making of an organization. Of an organization, right? So that is what we basically mean. So this comprises a lot of factors. We have 6 components of microenvironment. So we talk about components of microenvironment. Components of microenvironment. The first one we have, in fact, you can call them pastel. Pastel. So that is how many? We have pastel. So the first one is called political stroke legal. Political stroke legal, or let me just say political environment. Political political environment. That is the first one. Then we have economical environment. Then we have socio-cultural factors or environment. Social factor. So these are environmental factors. Or environment. We have technological factors, stock environment. We have ecological. We have legal factors or environment. And then number 7, you can add demographic. Now, I want us to go through them step by step. We have the components. We can go through them step by step. So the first one, we talked about the political environment or political factors. You see, politics affects the way business is run. Politics affects the way business is run. For example, we have a client in Masai Mara. When you go to Masai Mara, they are saying that the businesses that are around that particular area need to employ at least 70% of the people from the origin, the people from local. So that means that it is a political thing. Political parties or political leaders have decided to do such kind of policy that whenever you're operating business in those areas, you need to employ people who are from the region. We have seen cases where the business is also affected, like Moi University. At some point, they were saying that they have to have their VC from the region. That is a way in which politics can affect the business. They can tell you that this is how you operate when you are in this area. You have to have our own VC. We also have an issue with Langata, where the MP for Langata, that is Mr. Jalango, was saying that if you have any event that you want to do in that area, you must employ people from Langata. Wanasema vitu kama kufanya cleaning, security, kubeba tents, those things can be done by the locals. So any business or any events that you're going to have in Langata, you need to employ the local or the people from that particular, the constituents. So what we are basically saying is that a business can be affected by political factors. We also have issues like elections. Whenever there is election, you'll see people shying away from investing in a country because of politics. That is a political process, election. We also have things like violence that have happened. We have new leaders. When new leaders are appointed, people always align themselves with those leaders. If they are their affiliates, they will want to associate themselves and get some opportunities or contracts with those leaders. That is political factors. So people take advantage of those factors always. We have economical environment or economical factors. And we are saying that these are factors that affect the economy of a given country or an area. You can say that the current state of a country can also affect the company's business activities, the way they do business. So if it is a growing economy, then the businesses will also do well. I'm sure you've seen some cases where somebody is saying that economy is so bad, we don't even make sales, or the cost of goods are very high. So in general, in a growing economy, more people are working and the wages are also growing, right? And therefore, customers have relatively more money to spend. When there are wages, people are working and they're able to get money. That is why I'm saying wages are growing. Those people who are working, employees or casuals, they are able to have enough money to consume the products that you are selling. So a growing economy will economically empower the citizens or the people in that particular area. And therefore, consumers will be relatively more, they will have relatively more money to spend. So that requires more products or more production that needs to be ensured, right? You can expand the business and such like things. So such kind of things affects the business and the relations that you're making. Because if you have many people consuming your products, then obviously you need to produce more or even expand. We have the next one, that is the social cultural factors. Of course, there are areas that you can never sell certain products. There are areas that you can never sell products. I'm sure where Islamic religion are, you cannot go and sell pork in those areas. We also have social cultures. There is a day I went to Marakwet. For those who have gone to Marakwet, those people don't eat meat just the way you can just go and slaughter a cow and get meat. Those people only eat kondoo. In Marakwet wanakula kondoo peke yake in ordinary occasions. Ng'ombe wanakula during extraordinary occasions. Ruth, are you aware of that? Did you know that? That those people hawakuli tu ng'ombe hivi, wezi enda kwa hoteli unapata meat. Ni kondoo, right? You didn't know, Sadia. Ruth, wewe unajua? So ukienda kwa hoteli utapata nyama na ni tamu, utapata nyama lakini ni nyama ya kondoo, sio meat. Meat, they only eat or they only slaughter cows in very serious occasions. Maybe there are ceremonies. That is the only thing. So that is a social culture. You can't go and open such kind of business in those areas. And of course, I've explained that we also have issues like you can't sell pork where Islamic religions are, right? I can also relate that with maybe some of our beliefs. In Ushago, for example, there are some clothes that you cannot walk with in Ushago. Those ones with open neck, hapa, maybe haina sleeve, right? Maybe they call it tumbo cut, hizo vitu. Those are kind of clothes that you cannot walk with. Hot pants, you cannot walk with those things in Ushago. Watu watashangaa wakuulize, uko sawa kweli? Mtoto wa fulani ameharibika. So people don't sell those things in Ushago, up country, because people will not wear. If they put on, they'll have problems with their families. Remember, those are areas where we have the grandparents, we have parents. In Nairobi, people are mixed up. You can sell that in Nairobi. So that affects the kind of business that you can open in those areas, right? Also, we also think about the technological factors. Technology affects the business, the way we run business, right? The only thing that we agree that the only thing that will constantly change is technology. Technology will keep on changing throughout. And if you don't change with technology, I can tell you that you'll be swept out. You see, company like Nokia, CEO for Nokia did not do any mistake. That is the time when now people were getting into Android. He refused to join. He went for Microsoft instead of the Google or Android line. So people could not go that direction because now the technology has changed and now most people are going towards that direction. For those who had phones earlier, kama mimi simu yangu ya kwanza, I had my first phone in 2005. If you had your phone in 2005, 2004, you remember the phones that were there at that time. Nokia, tulikuwa na Nokia different types. Kuna 1110, kuna 1100, right? We had some nice phones. Nokia was the best, right? Most people are not even buying Samsung that you're seeing today. Those phones were very unique. We have Alcatel, we had Tecno ilikuwa, which one again? Do you remember? But then Nokia went down because they didn't adopt the technology. They were not moving with the trend. The same thing happened with Eveready Packer Power. For those who are old enough like me, you remember when Eveready was Eveready. Then at that time, it was the best everywhere. Every family was using that. But then when a technology came, where now we are now using electricity, we are using smartphones, we do not need that particular power. People stopped using watches, stopped using the dry cells. Then that is the area, that is the time they actually went down because they didn't make decision very fast to follow. So right now, Eveready is poorly performing or maybe it even died because of not adopting technology. So technology affects the business. Right now, we are doing online classes, right? And some colleges still insist that they want to do physical one. So you'll find somebody is paying 200,000 in a floor. They pay 200,000 rent in a floor with only 15 students. Is it economical? Na ndio maana you are seeing that the big colleges that you used to see before are no longer there. Because of technology, people have gone online. And with WhatsApp, they are able to get notes, they are able to get videos, they are able to get classes. YouTube is there. They don't even require to go for physical classes because the way is online. So such kind of technologies have affected businesses, and those people who are still running the physical classes, it's just a matter of time. They will go down. That is for sure. Right now, even exams people are doing online. It is only that we are still doing CPA online. ACC, meaning physical. ACCA is done online. You can be able to do ACCA online, but CPA we are still doing physical. Maybe with time they will still adopt. And even KASNEB has now approved. We have given accreditation to do classes online. KASNEB has now approved online. They even allow us to set exams online, submit those exams to them, right, online. So things are going towards that direction. Look at things like ATD. ATD, they say now exams are being done online. You only go with a computer, they are computer-based. So whoever is not adopting technology, with time they are going to be swept away. We also have ecological environment. Ecological factors or ecological environment. You see, there are areas that when you go there, they will always tell you, this is how we want to operate. I give example with Masai Mara. When you go to Masai Mara, they are environmental friendly. Hapo, they don't want to use anything that can make noise to the animals. So you need to adapt the ecological factors, the way the natural factors are made. You go there, the business that you're running should not be able to interfere with the nature. They want you to use vehicles that are environmental friendly. They don't want you to use fires, right? I don't know how you will survive there. They're only, you don't have to get to put fence. Like I told you, I had a customer there. When you go there, you find animals walking into their compounds. They have a tent. They have a tent somewhere where they are staying there. But animals are just moving. The first time I was there, I was even scared. Umekaa kwa tent lakini unaona huko nje elephant inatembea, unaona simba usiku, and there is no tent. Wanatembea hapo. And this is a fact. Go to Masai Mara, utaona. You don't fence the area. You are doing your business, don't interfere with our animals. That's the thing. And then again, they stay inside the bush, and everything they want to be solar, not electricity. Solar, because they need to be environmental friendly. So unakaa ndani ya bush in a position where you don't store animal, you don't make noise, you don't interfere with them. That is ecological factors. They can affect the way you're doing business. So that means that you now need to invest on environmental friendly energy, right? And the machines and everything. So that is how serious it is. We have legal factors, and of course, legal, you need to know the compliance issues. Compliance issues, right? So when you're going to do business in a country, and in those, for those who are doing audit, advanced audit, they might give you a situation where somebody is going to do a business in a different country. What are some of the factors that they need to consider? The legal factors. You need to know what are the tax requirements, what are the policies in that area, how do you trade? So such kind of things must be there so that you can comply with all the legal requirements, compliance with all legal factors in that particular country. And of course, these factors keep on changing. They keep on changing. Today, you can be told this one is good. A new person comes in, you're told that now the law has changed or a new law has been passed in the parliament. You have to comply with this. Recently, we had our teams. It was Teams. The gadget that we're using to file returns, how do you call it? Teams? And then we just bought that gadget, the one for ETR machine, not Teams, but ETR. It was a very painful thing. We bought ETR for our business. Then it only took 2 months, alafu tunasikia wakianza kusema ati they are introducing e-Teams. And you see, this thing is very expensive. We bought this thing as around 45,000. After 2 months, you're being told that now they have introduced items which is free. So you have to abandon the other one. You are going for electronic machine and the electronic returns, whatever system. So you find that some of these compliance issues, where you now need to comply with the regulatory requirements, can affect your business. You spend money and that just goes like that. And then you have to install another one or start another one. And now you have to comply with them. We have demographic, and of course in business you need to know where your customers are. Demographic is basically about population. So you need to know the type, the age group, you know, the gender of the targeted population. Are you targeting wazee in your business? Are you targeting people who are still young? Yes, they're saying that you can still use it, but it is free. Imagine eating is free. I just bought this one at that high price. I love immediately when I let in, which is even cheaper. That is number one. Number two, this one is portable. This one is portable. I have to carry it. Maybe I've gone to audit client somewhere and then nimeacha yangu pale. Unajua umeacha kwa ofisi, wewe umeenda kwa audit. Alafu client anakwambia I need invoice so that I can pay you. You have to call somebody in the office. If there is nobody in the office, you are alone, or maybe you are only 3 people na nyinyi wote mmeenda huko, you have to come back and generate receipt. Because this thing is portable and you can't walk with it to client sites. So you have to come back. That means that that money, you have to wait. Because client will not pay you without ETR, The client will not pay you without invoice. Na hiyo gadget meacha kwa office. But this one is very flexible. It is online. Anakwambia nataka receipt, una generate saa hiyo, nampea na kulipa, story imeisha. So even if you are there for around a week, you can get some money for accommodation to survive there, right? So this thing to me is a waste. Why would we buy this when this one is free? Ni kama wewe unapanda gari unalipa, alafu kufika kidogo hivyo unapata MC analipia watu fare na wewe ushalipa. Anakuja anasema kila mtu mwenye kwa hii gari tunamlipia, anapanda free na wewe ushalipa. How do you feel? So, that is what we are now saying. That business can be affected. Sometimes you feel it's a waste. At the end of the day, that machine will get spoiled, but this one will always be there unless they change it again. Your machine will depreciate. Demographic, we are talking about the population. And now we're saying that you need to understand the people that you are targeting. Who is your target market? So you need to categorize it or have the cluster. You need to classify your market so that you know the kind of things that I'm selling. Am I selling to university students? Like ukienda kwa university, you are selling next to university, you know the kind of clothes that you are always selling there. Ruth, shana hizo nguo wanavaa. I don't know why they have to put on oversized clothes. Sadia, mbona wanavaa oversized? Unapata msichana kadogo ni kaslim, lakini ile sweta amevaa imemfunika yote, ni kama amevaa blanket. So that is the kind of clothes they are putting on. Mimi hata nashangaa, alafu na Crocs. Sasa anaenda class. It is swag. No, now that is the kind of those. I never understand. I didn't have those swags. During our times, we were putting on very smartly. We used to put on very smartly. You remember that there is a program that used to run in Citizen TV. It was called Marima, and then we used to have Mara Clara, Storm of Paradise. You remember those ones? Yes, those guys used to put on very well. The Bravo brothers, they used to put on very well with some jeans, alafu wanavaa shirts fitting na wanataki. That is how we used to put on during those days. So tukitembea pale chuo tunasema sisi ni Bravo brothers. It was swag. That was our swag, but haikuwa oversize kama ya sahihi. It was nice. So we were saying that these people, you need to know them, you need to understand their taste and also their ability. Of course, if you are looking at areas that are densely populated, then you need to know which kind of business is good. Like when you come to Eastland area in Nairobi, the business that is doing well here is food, chakula. Mahali watu wako wengi, chakula, you'll always sell, right? You go to areas that are less populated, then you might have a problem with some kind of businesses that you might be doing there. So basically, as a business person, you need to scan the environment and know which one can you go for and how does it affect you? How does it affect you? So those are the components of macro, not micro, but macro environment, not micro, not micro. And we say that these are factors that sometimes they are beyond your control. You only need to adjust with them. You need to adjust. You need to adjust your business. Let's now look at internal environment. Internal environment. Internal environment. Internal environment. So internal environment constitutes everything inside the business that can affect its ability to achieve certain goals, right? And I want to say, you can write and say that the internal environment constitutes everything. Internal environment constitutes everything. Internal environment constitutes everything inside the firm. Everything inside the firm that can affect or that might affect the ability. It constitutes everything inside the firm. Everything inside the firm. Everything inside the firm that can affect its ability. That can affect its ability. That can affect its ability. Or might affect the ability of managers to pursue certain actions or strategies that can affect the abilities of managers, to pursue certain actions or strategy. So the following are some of the things that we have considered to be internal factors. So you say the following highlight the factors that determine the internal environment. The following highlights the factors that determine. The following highlights the factors that determine. The following highlights the factors that determine internal environment. The first one is called value system. These are internal environment. These are factors that can affect how managers are able to pursue certain actions. So we have the first one is called value system. Value system. So value system means what the beliefs are. What do you value in your life? Like some of us, we value peace. Some of us, we value integrity. Some of us, we value accountability. So these are things that, according to you, it is an ethical belief. You can't change it. What is your value? What makes sense to you? What is it that you cannot go against in your life? So these are ethical beliefs that guide the organization. You can say like that. Value systems are ethical beliefs that guide the organization in achieving its missions and objectives. They are ethical beliefs that guide the organization in achieving its mission and objectives. They determine the behavior towards the employees. Unajua, employees when they join a company, sometimes they take time, alafu wanaanza kuadapt. And the thing that they have learned there will live with them forever. You know, learning is a process, and learning never ends. That is why when you get to a new company, you always say that we used to do this. In my former company, my manager used to do this. It becomes a referral. You always want to copy what was being done. So those values, those beliefs affects how you operate. And so we are saying that they affect or they determine employees' behavior. They determine employees' behavior, or they determine behaviors of employees, customers, they determine behaviors of employees, customers, and society as a large. And that is why some customers will always say that I don't like the service in this bank because we are used to a good service in another bank. So bank A, there is a culture, there is a value they are giving to customers, or their beliefs that they have. They believe that a customer should be served end to end. But in bank B, even watchman can meet you at the gate, pale kwa mlango na anakuuliza, what do you want? Have you ever experienced such a thing? You go to open bank account, and then you meet a customer at the door. The customer asks you, what do you want? Unamwambia, alafu anakuambia chukua form pale, enda ujaze nje. Kuna time niliambiwa hivyo, nilitoroka, nilikasirika sana. You get to a banking hall, you want to open a bank account, lakini watchman ndiye anakutana na wewe, anakuambia, what do you want? Enda huko. But you go to another bank where you get a working manager. You know, there are floor managers. The floor manager ndiye anakutana na wewe, anakuongelesha vizuri, you sit down, they give you the form, they assist you to fill, right? They tell you these are the requirements, you provide some of them, or even on email, on WhatsApp. You get everything done, and then they tell you, you will get your account number tomorrow. Thanks so much. After that, they even give you a call. How was our service? But in another bank, they send you, go and fill the form. These are the requirements. Now we're a soldier. These are the requirements. And utafute na ukuje nayo and copy. So those are the beliefs. Those are the values that they have, right? So we are saying that these values affect the organization. They affect the employees. They affect the customers as well. So the systems of the promoters, those are the founders of the business. The value system of the promoters of an organization has an important bearing. Right? The founders are the ones who set this value system, the directors who started the business. So whatever they start will always stay with the employees. See now, there's something that happened to us. Let me mute this one. Vision, mission, and objective. The company's vision, you can write that the company's vision describes its future position. So the vision describes its future The vision describes its future. The mission defines the company's business and the reason for its existence. So the mission defines companies, businesses, defines company's business and the reason for its existence. The reason for its existence, right? The objective implies the ultimate aim of the company. Objective implies the ultimate aim of the company. The ultimate aim of the company and the ways to reach the goals or the ends and the ways to reach the ends. So I want you to understand the differences between the three. Vision normally talks about the future. Where do you want to be in the next 20 years? the ultimate goal where you want to be. Like most visions are always big. People say that I want to be the biggest company or service provider in Africa. We want to be the best in customer service. We want to be the recognized institution. We want to be #1 institution in Kenya. Those are visions. They are very big dreams, long-term things. And then what do you do today? What do you do today to reach where you want to be? The things that you're doing today, how do you want to be the best in customer service? I have to be good in services, right? I have to pay attention to my employees. I have to give service, the best service or the best products, such kind of things. That activity that you are doing today so that you can reach into the future, that is what we call mission. So missions are the company's business and the reason for existence. Why do you exist today? You are not existing today so that you become the biggest company. No, you are existing today so that you can make your customers happy, so that you can give the best service, so that you can be the cheapest in the market, so that you can be the one that is good in terms of employee relation. That is the activity that you're doing today, giving service and valuing customers. When you do it in a long term, it is going to make you realize your vision. So those activities that you undertake or the mission. The objectives are basically the goals that you have, the target that you're setting to yourself for short-term basis. Because at the end, when you meet all of them, when you meet all the objectives, you shall have been #1, which is a vision. So the ultimate aim of the company and the ways to reach there. I want us now to look at the corporate, the organizational structure. That is also an internal thing that affects the business. So of course, we talked about internal factors, and we are saying that internal factors or internal environment, these are things that are within, right? And one of them is the value system. #2 is the vision, mission, and objectives. They differ from one company to another. They are the ones that drive you. They give you morale. #3, we are talking about the organization structure. Organization structure. And let me ask you, between the objectives and the structure, which one comes first? Which one comes first? Between the organizational structure and the objective, which one comes first? Welcome, Liz. Welcome, Leonida. My name is CPA Dennis. My name is CPA Dennis. I teach AFM and also LM. You can get us through this number. On WhatsApp or call 26839808, or you can also WhatsApp this. All right, for more classes, so we shall be able to assist you. Thanks so much for joining us and feel most welcome. All right, please bring your colleagues so that we can do revision together. We have started blocks for AFM. We shall be continuing together with you, right? If you're doing intermediate, if you're doing LM, we are just in the process, almost winding up, and then we do blocks, including the case study. So kindly call your friends, join us for classes, and we have a timetable. We'll be able to share with you the timetable. Today, we have just decided to do class now because most people are just resting at home. So we can do for them some classes. Thank you so much and feel welcome. Now, I was asking, we normally have interactive class. So utaona wanaongea wewe pia just chat, don't worry. Sasa, yes, feel most welcome and feel free as much as you can to assist us. In my class, we normally have discussions, so we communicate. Sasa, so I was asking, between the goals or objectives, between objectives and organizational structure, which one comes first? So Ruth is saying that objectives should come #1. Sadia, what do you think? Sadia, what do you think? Sadia is saying that objectives become number one. Objectives comes number one, yes. So you need to set your objectives, then now make structures that can allow you achieve that objectives. So that is okay. So it is the organizational structure that should be made in a way to align with the objectives. Remember when I was teaching UFM, we talked about the corporate restructuring, and we say that in corporate restructuring, you need to change the structures, you can change the governance, you can change the sources of capital, right? The capital structure, or even the operational structures. So the structures can always be changed to match or to make us achieve the goals. So these structures determine what we want to achieve. They determine how we are going to achieve whatever we want to achieve. And that is why it is also one of the internal factors that we have to look at. I want to say that structures determine the way in which activities are directed. Structures determine the way in which activities are directed. Structures determine the way in which activities are directed in the organization so as to reach the ultimate goal. It determines the way activities are directed in the organization so as to reach the ultimate goal. Structure determines the way activities are directed. The way activities are directed in the organization so as to reach the ultimate goal. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention something that for those who are joining now, we only charge 2,000. That one includes the videos for the classes that you have missed and the classes going forward. So utafanya blog, utapata videos, na tena utatend classes. Sawa at that cost. Only 2,000 per unit. So we have a pay bill. Sasa, alafu kuna WhatsApp group for those who are paid. Achana na hii general where you are. So kuna WhatsApp group where other people are there. Sasa, ukiingia hapo sasa unapewa all the videos na unaingia class. Pap, unaendelea. We also have notes, like the notes that we're using now. After class, we share there. So those who have missed, like in this class, there are around 15 or 20 there. Wote watapata hizo videos. Ndio maana hawana haraka. Because they know we will always share. So don't worry. Just give us a call, Leonida, then or WhatsApp on that number, and then you join class. Same to Liz. So we are saying that these cultures determine, the structure determine how you're going to reach your goal. So don't write this, don't write that, whatever you've written is enough. The nature of organizational structure has a very significant influence over the decision that you're going to make in terms of the processes. So an efficient working of the business requires that you have a proper structure. You need to have a structure where decisions can be quickly made. For example, if the things that you're doing, the kind of operations that you're undertaking, requires you to make some quick decisions every time, then you need to have a structure that aligns with that, because the structure helps you to helps the flow of information. The way you communicate depends on the structures. You'll find some structures are very stringent or rigid. You have to pass information in a certain way and you make a decision. But there are structures that are very free. You can easily meet the final person who makes the decision. So the structures affect the decision. The decisions affect the activities that you're undertaking. Those activities affects the goal that you'll achieve. So the structure affects the decision that you're making daily. The decision that you're making affects the business that you are undertaking daily, the routine business. Those business that you undertake affects the ultimate goal. And of course, the ultimate goal will affect the vision and of course the mission of the company, such kind of things. So they are very important. Now, I want us to look at the corporate culture. Number 4, corporate culture. Corporate culture, or otherwise called the organizational culture, it refers to the values. You say that this one refers to the values It refers to the values, beliefs, and behaviors. It refers to the values, beliefs, and behavior. It refers to the values, beliefs, and behavior. It refers to the values, beliefs, and behavior of the organization. It refers to the values, beliefs, and behavior of the organization that ascertain the way in which employees and management communicate. It refers to the values, beliefs, and behavior of the organization, that ascertains the way in which employees and management communicate, and manage their external affairs. I'll give an example about the culture, and I say that culture determines how people operate. I'm not sure whether you should enter mahali, you've gone to an organization or a new company, and people are telling you that acha kierere, hatufanyangi kazi hivi, and this is how we do it. Ama unasikia wanakuja Sengenya, they are saying that huyu naye amekuja na kierere zake, atatulia tu, si ametupata hapa, sisi ndio wenyeji. Ama wanaambiwa that you see things are not done like this. You have to talk. Everything that you're doing, you have to talk to so and so. You have to talk to so and so. So you thought there is a freedom. As an internal auditor, you thought that you could get into accounts department, finance department, and just audit. No, the culture there is different. For you to get to finance department, you must be accompanied by the head of finance, or maybe the head of audit, or the CEO. You don't just access things that you want, and you're the internal auditor. That is the culture. So sometimes it affects the way you're doing business. And that is why we are saying it ascertains the way the management communicate and the way they operate their external affairs. So in a closed and threatening type of corporate culture, like the one that I've given you an example, the closed and threatening type of corporate culture, decisions are taken by the top level managers mostly. You are not free to do anything that you want. Decisions are taken by the top level managers, right? While middle level and the lower levels have no say in business decision making process. Kila kitu lazima itoke kwa mkubwa. Hata mtu akienda leave, the general manager must know. And you are a branch manager, or maybe, you are somebody who you thought that you can make those independent decisions to allow somebody to go off. Lakini sasa ni GM must approve for somebody to go off. Off duty. The next factor is human resource. And human resource are very important. They are the most valuable assets in the organization. If you want to make your employees, if you want to make your customer happy, the first customer that you have is your employee, right? And those are human resources. So human resource is the most valuable asset in the organization. It has a repercussion. Whatever they do, that is what people will know as the company. If it is a good customer service, they will say that A&C Limited has got poor customer service. They will not say that Moses Karaoke of this company has got a bad behavior. No, they say that this company. So that means that whatever they do has got a damage or can build the company. So the success or failure of the company depends on these people, the human resource. So it is an internal factor that affects the business. You need to make them happy. You need to train them well, right? So the success of a business depends on a greater extent on the skills, capabilities, behavior, and commitment of your employees. The success of a business or failure depends on the skills, capabilities, commitment, and behavior of the employees, right? And I want to try something like that just for remembrance. Just write like that. That business success or failures depends on the commitment, skills, capabilities, and behavior of employees, right? Then you can add and say that employees are the most valuable assets in any business. They need to be trained. They need to be well trained. And a good culture needs to be built in them. We also have now number 6, which we call physical resources and technological capacity. Those are also still within the company. They are internal because the technology that you're using in your company might be different from that is being the one that is being used by a different company. Yeah. Physical resources and technological capabilities. So physical resources refers to the tangible assets that you always have that play a very important role in ascertaining the competitiveness of the company. You know, some jobs when you're looking for contracts in the company, in some cases when you're looking for contract, they'll ask you, they want to know the assets that you have. So they want audited account or only the resources that you have. The reason why they want this, they want to see how flexible you are. You want to go and work somewhere. In your financial statement, you don't show that you have motor vehicle. How are you going to manage? You don't even have printer. Are you going to expose clients' information at the cyber? So the physical resources matters. A company that has got good printing machines, that has got binding machines, that has got maybe motor vehicle, that company you cannot compare with the one that is just starting. And that is why in some tenders, they always want to see audited account. They are not just looking at the financial capacity. They also want to look at the resources that you have, the assets that you have. Is this something that can help you or can facilitate the activity that you are about to undertake? Sorry. So those are very important things. Sorry. So physical resources refers to those tangible assets that play important role as far as the business is concerned. Technology, or we can say technological capacity, imply the technical know-how of the organization. They will ask you which machines do you use, which system do you use. If it is an audit firm, they will ask you which system do you use for audit. You know, now people are moving from the physical documentation where you make files physical. Those files can be exposed. So they want to know which systems are you using. It is very easy to use the system and it makes your work neat, organized, and it is not easy to forget something because the system might not move to the next step if you have not attached some evidence that are required. So that is why people will ask for technological capabilities. It shows that you are well prepared and you are versed to the technology, right? You are versed with the technology. Number 7, another factor, number 7 is labor union. This one looks like an external factor, but it affects the business internally because your staffs are going to be part of the union. So when staffs are part of the union, then you need to do for them salary increment, even when you are not making profit. There is a standard you have to increase their salary, whether the company is not doing well. So labor unions are another factor which determines the internal factors of the firm. They collectively bargain with the top managers on behalf of the employees as far as the union wages are concerned. So they will come and discuss with you the conditions of work, the wages, minimum wage, issues to do with such kind of employees' welfare. So smooth working business requires you to be in good relationship with the union, because in that way, your employees will be stable, right? And probably you can just say, right, that these are also factors. These are all factors that, they are also factors that determine internal environment of a firm. They are also factors that determine the internal environment of a firm. They determine the internal environment of a firm. They determine the internal environment of a firm. They collectively bargain. The union collectively bargain with top managers regarding the wages and working conditions. They bargain on the wages and the working conditions. They bargain on the wages and working conditions of different categories of employees. I want us now to look at the external environment. We are done with these internal environmental factors. We look at now the external. So in summary, what we are saying is that environmental factors are categorized into two categories. The first category was environmental factors are categorized into two. The first category was whether it is macro and micro. So micro and macro. And we say that micro are the ones that are within. They have direct contact, they have direct influence with the company. These ones do not have direct influence. They are factors that are uncontrollable. Then now we have the second category. You can classify them as internal or let me use the word or external. Internal, we say that these are within the company. Not necessarily like micro, we say that they have direct contact. These ones are the ones that are within. So we're looking at now external. We are now looking at external factors. These are the factors that might have direct in contact, but they are not within. They are not within, like the first one here. These ones are now outside, though they might have direct impact or contact with the business. So let's look at the external environment. External environment. So I want to say that these are forces and events outside the company. These are forces and events outside a company. These are forces and events outside a company that have the potential to influence or affect it. They are factors that have the potential or ability to influence or affect the business. These are factors that are outside a company that have the potential to influence or affect it. They constitute everything outside a firm, but can affect the ability to attain their goals, or can affect its ability to attain its goals. Can affect its ability to attain its goals. Can affect its ability to attain its goals. So we have talked about them. These factors can either be micro or macro, depending on whether they are out, as long as they are outside. So as long as they are outside, they can either be under micro or macro. So external factors under micro, we are saying that these environmental factors can be classified into these factors, which are external, can be classified into number one, we have micro. Under micro, these are outside. but they have direct contact microenvironment, which includes, or we say these are things like the customer, competitors, market, suppliers. Market, suppliers, intermediaries. How do we know that these ones are micro? We say that micro factors have got direct contact with the business, but they are outside the business, but they affect the business directly. These are the ones. Then number two, we now have macro, which are uncontrollable and they are outside. So macro environment. And here we gave examples of pastel. So we have pastel. So we talked about political, economical, socio-cultural, technological, ecological, and legal. These are external, but they are under macro. So. Now, I want us now to look at the tools of environmental analysis, and this is the most interesting part that is normally examined. I want you to listen very carefully. The examiners feel like whatever we've been discussing here are things that are basic, you should be able to know. But now what we're going to discuss now, going forward, these are the things that examiners like setting. They are now at your level. They are taught mostly in universities at the master's level, right? But the good thing is that CPA is always advanced. So let's look at the tools of environmental scanning. Now, when you want to scan environment, you want to understand these factors and take advantage of them, the factors that we have talked about. How do you do that? How do you scan your environment or analyze your environment? Tools of environmental analysis. Tools of environmental analysis. So you can say that using various techniques, organizations perform the analysis of the business environment. Using various techniques, organizations perform the analysis of the business environment. Organizations perform the analysis of business environments. Organizations perform the analysis of business environment and accordingly prepare their response. And accordingly prepare their response strategies. And accordingly prepare their response strategies. And accordingly prepare their response strategies. And accordingly prepare their response strategies to survive in the market. and accordingly prepare their response strategies to survive in the market. So let's look at the importance of environmental analysis. Why is it important to do it? Importance of environmental analysis. The first one is to identify strength. Or the business. We don't know where are you strong at. The next one, to identify weaknesses. Number three, identification of opportunities. Identification of opportunities. Identification of threats. Identification of threats. The next one, for effective planning. For effective planning. Facilitation of survival and growth of the business. Survival and growth of the business. Facilitate and organize resources. Facilitation or facilitate and organize resources. For flexibility in operation. For flexibility in operation. Corporate image. Corporate image. Motivation of employees. Motivation of employees. Motivation of employees. So, when you do environmental scanning, proper environmental scanning, you'll be able to make a good business decisions. And that will improve the performance of the organization. You will have good HR policies, and that will motivate employees. So you can do analysis that can allow you to do things that are right, and that will make the employees happy. The purpose of corporate image, we are saying that corporate image means creating a mental picture in the public and the customers. So the analysis will be able to help you improve the overall performance of the business, and that will make the public look at you in a different way. Most people associate themselves with KCB Bank because of the performance and the way they are able to align themselves. So people are always happy to associate with it. So that is a corporate image. You not even want to know the nitty-gritty things. You want to see what they normally do outside. So customers, the suppliers, dealers, they will want to associate with the business that is doing well and is making the right decision at the right time. In terms of resource allocation, we are saying that we normally have limited resources. We have limited physical and human resources. The money that we have also is limited. So we need to make good decision at the right time. The analysis of the environment will help us to ensure that we only give the resources that are required at the right place. And that will help us. That will help us. So let's now look at the tools of business analysis. You can say, after doing that, you say now a paragraph that some of the techniques or tools or techniques of business analysis or environmental analysis are as follows. Some of the tools and techniques of environmental analysis are as follows. The first one is called SWOT analysis. The first one is called SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. That is the first one. SWOT analysis. Say that this analyzes the strength. This analyzes the strength and weaknesses alongside opportunities and threats in the external environment. This analyzes the strength and weaknesses. This analyzes the strength and weaknesses alongside the opportunities and threats. This analyzes strength and weaknesses alongside opportunities and threats. This analyzes strength and weaknesses alongside the opportunities and threats present in the external environment. Present in the external environment. Full stop. So don't write something, just say, I'm just explaining that a SWOT analysis involves collection of information about the internal and external factors where you can be able to get the opportunities, you can be able to note your strength, you can be able to identify the weaknesses that you have, you can be able to understand the threats that are actually affecting the business. The objective is to help the business develop a full awareness of all these factors. So the elements of SWOT analysis, that is what you can write now, elements of SWOT analysis. Elements of SWOT analysis. The first one is called strength. And you say that it is an internal attribute. Internal attribute, or these are internal attributes. These are internal attributes and resources that support a successful outcome. Number two, weaknesses. These are internal attributes and resources that work against a successful outcome. They work against a successful outcome. Number three is opportunities. These are external factors that can jeopardize the entity's success. These are factors, external factors. External factors that can jeopardize the entity's success. Then we have, that is, no, that is a, did I say that is a threat? Sorry. This is threat. Number four, opportunity. External factors that entity can capitalize on. External factors that the entity that an entity can capitalize it on or use to take advantage. Or use to take advantage. The next one is called pastel or pastel. This one I've explained. That is another analysis after number one, which is what? The next one is pastel. The next one is pastel number two. It's called pastel framework. And you know, these are the items that we talked about. So you say that this tool is especially useful when starting a new business. This tool is especially useful when starting a new business. It's very useful when starting a new business or entering a foreign market. So here we are talking about pastel, you know them? The pastel political. We talked about economical. We talked about the social, cultural. We talked about technological. Ecological. That is E. Then we have legal, L for legal. L for legal. L for legal. I think I've explained this. So economical includes things like the interest rate, the inflation, the disposable income, the ability or purchasing power. Then political, we have explained this. We talked about the economical, the political landscape, political stability and instability in a particular country. Those ones can affect the company. We have foreign policies that foreign trade policies that are influenced by political, where we have the agreement in terms of the taxes, right? We have labor agreement between one country and another. Those are political. Trade restrictions. When we talk about the social factors we talked about, we emphasize on the lifestyle of people, the cultural beliefs, right? The career attitudes, the population beliefs or cultures. Technology, you know, ability to adopt new technology, the research and development issues, right? Innovation, automation, such kind of things. The changes in technology, different ways of production. Legal factors, you know them, the Copyright Act, the legal requirement, the trade requirements, rules and regulations governing a certain area as referred to as a result of the regulators' provisions. We also have environmental factors, which I had explained, not environmental, but ecological factors, which I had explained earlier. That is where we get the raw materials, and we need to maintain the nature the way they are. Let's look at the third one, which is called Potter's five forces. The Potter's five forces is the third one after pastel. Potter's five forces. That is number 3. Potter's five forces model. So somebody by the name Michael Porters came up with 5 forces. These are the forces that he believes affects the business. So he's telling you to analyze those forces. You need to use them as a tool so that you can be able to bargain with them. The 5 forces model. So I will want you to draw something. I want you to draw this. That is the Potter's 5 forces model. Draw something like that, and then we proceed. So you're done. We can proceed, eh? So I want to start with the competitive rivalry. Is that where you are? Competitive rivalry. Competitive rivalry. So you say that under competitive, you say that the more competitors in an industry, the more competitors in an industry, the more competitors in the industry, comma, the more fierce the rivalry, the more fierce or fires, the more fierce the rivalry, the more competitive, the more fierce the rivalry, each fighting for scraps of the market share. Rivalry, fierce the rivalry, comma, each fighting for scraps of the market share. Of the market share. So each person will be fighting to get the market share. The next one is industry growth. Growth in the industry. Or which one was it? So I've talked about competitive rivalry, and I talked about the intense competition in the marketplace. So this one is affected by the number of people who are joining the company, which makes competition very intense. So when there are few competitors, then the business is better. If there are more competitors, then competition becomes high, it becomes more expensive. The next one is the bargaining power of the suppliers. Bargaining power of the suppliers, uko na hiyo, sindio? Bargaining power of the suppliers, you say, this force examines the power of consumer and their effect on pricing and quality. This force examines the power of a consumer, the power of the consumer, and their effect on pricing and quality. And their effect on pricing and quality. And their effect on pricing and quality. And their effects on pricing and quality. Consumers have power when they are fewer in their number, but there are plenty sellers. You know, when consumers are very many, when they are few, I'm not sure which part you're saying, pardon. Which one? You can talk. Where should I pardon?
From the beginning, the bargaining power of supplier.
The bargaining power of supplier. That is number 2. So I'm saying that this force analyzes how much power. Remember, there are 5 forces. So there is a force that comes from bargaining power. And let me just explain before you write so that you understand. When you're a supplier, you're supplying something. And you are few who are supplying. Mko wachache when you want to supply. What will happen is that you will determine the price and the quality. So assuming that the suppliers are very few, but the buyers are so many, it means that the person who calls the shot is the supplier, and anaamua nini alete nini, at what price, and man and time. Unaweza pata nakwambia we only come there weekly. We only come there twice a week. But you have to go with that, and the prices are very expensive. You have to wait. Kama for example, sahii kuna jamaa wangu anauza hizi madawa za kienyeji. Hizi madawa za kienyeji, the traditional medicine, herbals. Anaendaga huko Nyanza. Ako Nairobi but anapeleka Nyanza. He only goes there once a month. Na watu wanajaa. So anaenda Kisumu once, anaenda Siaya once, anarudi Migori once, anaenda Homa Bay once. Just once a month. Alafu anarudi Nairobi, anaenda Western. Kila mahali anaenda tu once. The price yenye amekwambia ni unalipa. You hauna hizo madawa, you don't know the alternative person, yeye ndio supplier. So that person becomes powerful. It determines the time, it determines the place where you will meet him. So wewe utapanda gari uende mahali hapo. Na yeye ndiye anajua dawa gani anakupea at what price. That is how the suppliers can have bargaining power in their field. So I'll repeat that. I'm saying that I think I gave you the wrong information, but you can write now the bargaining power of suppliers. This analyzes it analyzes how much power. It analyzes how much power the suppliers have and how much they control the prices. How much powers they have and how much they control the prices, which in turn affects the profitability. You say that the more the suppliers, or the fewer the suppliers they are, the fewer the suppliers they are, the fewer the suppliers they are for raw materials and other resources, the more power they have. If there are very few, the suppliers of raw material, they become powerful. So if you're a business person and the suppliers that supply you with the goods are few, they affect the prices, which can affect your prices, your selling price. Ja wakikupea vitu at a higher price, it will make your profit be kidogo. So the fewer they are, the fewer the suppliers of raw materials are, the more powerful they are. The more powerful they are, the more powerful they are. So businesses are in a better position when there are multiple suppliers. Businesses are in better position when we have so many suppliers. Businesses are in better position when you have so many suppliers. Businesses are in better position when we have so many suppliers. So in this case, we are talking about you, not as a supplier, but you are the business person. You are being supplied. These people determines everything. So number 3, the bargaining power of customers or buyers. 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 we are saying that consumers have power when they are few. Consumers have power when they are few. Consumers have got power when they are few. Consumers have got power when they are few, especially when there are plentiful sellers. Especially when there are plentiful sellers. Especially where there are plentiful sellers. Especially where there are plentiful sellers. Especially where there are plentiful sellers. They have power when sellers are so many. It is easy for consumers to switch from one seller to another. And they determine the price. It's easy for them to switch and they determine the price. So we are saying that if consumers are so many and their suppliers, then they determine the price. But when we have less consumers, no, when we have so many, sorry, the opposite. If the consumers are few and the suppliers are so many, then they determine the price. They can easily switch from one supplier to another. The next area that I want us now to look at, and the opposite is true. When you have so many consumers with few suppliers, then it means that it is the supplier that now matters. The next one is the threat of new entrants. Threat of new entrants. That is number 4 or 3. 4. Threat of new entrants. Threat of new entrants. Threat of new entrants. You say that this force considers how easy or difficult is it to join the market. This force considers how easy or difficult is it to join the market. Considers how easy or difficult is it to join the market. How easy or difficult is it to join the market? How easy or difficult is it to join the market? The easier is it for a new competitor to gain entry? The easier is it for a new competitor to gain entry? Kuna kitu mtu hajaelewa? You want a break? Sawa, wacha tumalize hiyo. They are only forced. Tunamaliza hiyo, then you take a break. The easier it is for a new entrant to join the market, the greater the risk to establish a business. It is risky if you're doing a business where kila mtu anaweza ingia. You'll make losses. You can spend a lot of money, then you don't gain anything. The easier is it, the risky it is. The easier is it for them to join, the risky is it. It is. The risky it is. So that is what you are saying. If it is easier, then it is risky for you to run business in that environment because anybody can join. The last one, then we take a break, is the threat of substitute or products or services. Threat of substitute product or services. Threat of substitute product or services. We are saying that this pause studies how easy it is for consumers to switch from one business product to another. It determines how easy it is for them to switch from one product to another. Determines how easy it is to switch from one product to another. The threat of substitute is informed by switching cost. The threat of substitute is informed by switching cost. The threat of substitute is informed by switching cost. The threat of substitute is informed by switching costs. The threat of substitute is informed by switching costs. Switching costs, both immediate term as well as long term. Both the cost of both immediate cost and long-term cost. So we shall stop there. We only had like three tools remaining, and then we are done with this topic. But we can stop there, take a break. We shall come back later. Ruth hata ametoka na Nisedi ametoka. Thank you so much. Okay, let's take a break.